All right, good. So this is Nursing 122, which is an extension of Nursing 114 Medical Physiology II. And in last semester, we put all our attention in understanding the smallest unit of life, which is a cell. And beside the cells, we saw a little bit of tissue and how the cell function in all parameters. And in Nursing 122, it will be extension of Nursing 114 or Medical Physiology II. And for you to get a well understanding of this course, the prerequisite or the prior knowledge will be that of nursing of Medical Physiology 1. We also borrow a little bit from anatomy, and specifically both from gross anatomy, which I hope you have already done by now, and together with histology, because we'll still be making quite a lot of reference back to anatomy. As I always say, that for you to get a well understanding of physiology, which are simply processes of life, you need to understand the aspect of it, the physical aspect of it, which is gross anatomy. But also at the chemical level, you still need some knowledge a little bit. And that is where biochemistry comes in. And the knowledge in biochemistry, which I hope up to now you have done, will also be essential in your understanding. Thus, if you combine medical physiology, one, which we focus entirely on the cell. So we borrow all the knowledge we learn from the cell, combine it with anatomy. So that includes both gross anatomy and histology, together with biochemistry, which are the chemicals of life. Together, when you combine the three of them, we should be able to get a well understanding of medical physiology too. And what exactly does it entail? This is what the course entails, and these are the purpose of the course. And the aim is to equip you with the knowledge on how the normal body system functions and how these are integrated to ensure the optimal functioning and maintenance of homeostasis. Last time we learned that homeostasis is simply keeping all the parameters of the body within a certain range where within that range, the functionality become optimal. On that regard, then, we see a little bit of a few functions or the core functions of the human body. And we have about 8 of them, what you call sometimes the functions of life, that once we put all the system together, we want to achieve a few other things. So some are the end goal, while others are the means of achieving the end goals. For example, respiration, the process of breaking down the nutrients to release energy. And this is where you require a little bit knowledge of biochemistry. That is one function which is aimed at achieving another function. And another one will be an aspect of metabolism and also reproduction. So for example, reproduction is the ultimate aim. And for you to reproduce, you need to metabolize and you need equally the process of respiration. Other functions include the process of movement. Right now, you are able to move from one point to another. And for that movement to occur, you need some support equally. And protection will be needed either in form of an immunity or a physical protection. And for that process of movement to take place, so the movement has to be precise and intentional. We have another aspect of coordination and control. When the organism or any other multicellular organism, including the animal, breaks down any component to form energy, we have some byproduct and they have to be eliminated from the body, and that is an aspect of excretion. For that excretion to take place, it has to be transported from one place from another. For example, urine formation, they are formed at the kidney, but then they have to be transported and stored somewhere else in the bladder, for example. And that is another aspect of transportation, or simply the way your blood moves from one part of the body to the other is an aspect of transportation. And digestion is equally there as an aspect of or a means to achieve another goal. For instance, we cannot have the process of metabolism without having the process of digestion first. So those are the core functions that the body performs. And with you on your screen, you can see some image there, some triangle called the Maslow hierarchy of need. And this is something you must have been taught in your behavioral sciences course. I think it should be taught under psychology. And this guy called Ibrahim Maslow postulated that our needs is in form of a triangle. And on the base, we have the very basic needs of life. And as we rise higher up to the peak of the triangle or a pyramid, we have those that we really need less of them. And at the base, we have the basic need, and these are the physiological needs. So these include the food, shelter, and equally, it was able also to include sex as a physiological need. So then, all those aims that we say that the initial aims fall under the lowest base in the Maslow hierarchy of need. But then others like the safety, love and belonging, self-esteem, and the cognitive function, until you reach the highest level of self-actualization, which still remain to be hypothetical. Those will not be really essential for life, but the lower two one, the physiological need and the safety, are the very essential one. So all those processes that we are talking in the initial slide fall under the physiological needs. For the body to be able to achieve all those around 9 functions that we talk about, we have the systems in the body. And these systems are 11 in number. And they work together in a way to achieve the final goal. And these systems include the endocrine system, which functions closely together with the nervous system to bring about the control of the body. And in endocrine system, we'll be talking majorly about the hormones. And then we have the blood and the immune system. So the blood functions to transport all the components around the body, including distributing the heat and distributing the nutrients, and moving some substances that need to be excreted from the body. We'll have later talk about the immune system, but not go so much into details into it because I understand we have another course called immunology, which I hope you have already covered or yet to cover. But the physiology together with the histology will lay down the foundation of the immune system on how we classify it. We'll have the cardiovascular system. So this includes the heart together with all the blood vessels and how it functions as a pump connected to some pipes, and the pump will ensure a continuous movement of blood around the body. We'll have the digestive system where we'll talk of simply of an elongated tubes. And this is where the nutrients enter the body, and we'll review it in further details. And together with the digestive system, we have some organs associated with it. We have the liver, and this is where much of the metabolism and other regulation of aspect of the body takes place. And we'll spend a good time talking about the liver and having an understanding of the anatomy and a little bit of histology on how the liver function, both together with the pancreas, where it functions both as an endocrine and as an exocrine organ. That is to mean that it's both an endocrine because it produces hormone. That is where the sugar levels are regulated. But it doesn't work alone. It needs some aspect of the liver because liver performs some other storage function and some other major metabolism. So they work quite closely. The respiratory system will talk about the gaseous exchange. But before the gases are exchanged, they need to be taken into the body. we'll do a little review of anatomy and the conduction pathways, and we later delve into where the actual respiration takes place, about the alveoli, and histology is of great significance there, where we have different types of epithelium. And after that one, we'll talk about the integumentary system, skin being the largest organ by surface area. Of course, the liver is the largest solid organ in the body, but by surface area, the skin is the biggest. And it performs other functions quite closely related with the nervous system on how it's able to regulate the body temperature in association with the hypothalamus. Right now, if you look at your skin closely, if I presume where you are is a bit colder, like where I am, and see the air on your skin, they're a little bit straightened up. We have some muscles there connected to the autonomic nervous system, what you call simply called the goosebump. So your ears are a little bit straight right now because there is a small muscle attached to your ear that is contracted, and it makes your ear to stand uprightly. So that indicates that your body is a little bit cold, and right now you are unable to sweat. And beside that one, you can see you have a transformation of the skin in your body, that if you touch your face, it's a little bit thinner and soft. If you touch your palms, so it's a little bit harder. The differences is an adaptation brought about by the thickness of the epidermis, and that gives it the differences. And that one also has an implication. You can also realize that usually you sweat so much around your armpits, and the smell of the sweat in your armpit is a little bit different to that one in the rest of your body. And you also realize that individuals have different scent. Assume that you didn't mask it with cologne or a roll-on, and that one has a differences. Although human beings, we are unable to appreciate it significantly, but other animals like dogs, for example, which have a very strong sense of smell, are able to distinguish from one to another. But due to our evolution, we are still unable to distinguish it consciously. But at a subconscious level, maybe it might even play a role in whom you can be able to fall in love simply by the scent of their armpits, because they have some special glands there. We'll look into details into that one when we see it. We have the urinary system. These are the two kidneys together with the ureters and the bladder. And urine is formed. And beside urine formation, we'll see other details on how the urinary system, together with the cardiovascular system, is able to maintain the blood pressure within the optimal ranges. We'll also lay the foundation that will help you understand the pharmacology well, because 3/3 of all antihypertensive medications works through the kidney, and that will do justice to that unit in pharmacology if you haven't done it yet. But if you have done it, it will be a recap. We have the skeletal system. This includes the appendicular and axial skeletal, and all about 204 bones in your body. And it functions as a lever, and that lever, to be complete, it has to be attached with some muscles, where we have the insertion and the origin and the insertion, and that one will bring about the fine movement. But on their own, they are unable to function independently very well. If you touch your pen right now and note down something, that very smooth movement is a courtesy of your brain, and the nervous system will see how it coordinates all other activity. You are able to hear me right now, and that is the courtesy of the special senses, because the sound wave will be transmitted into your cochlea, and it will go all the way into the auditory part of your brain. So the nervous system will form a major part of it on how all aspects are regulated. And finally, we have the reproduction, and these are the two systems, both in male and female. Because ultimately, you can ask yourself, today you're going to school, you're really struggling, you're trying to feed some supplementary, life can be hard. Yeah, sometimes it can be broke. But then at the end of it, you go to internship, you get some good pay, and later you make money, and But then after making money, what else? So possibly you think of driving your, dream car, possibly a Q4, and live in a good house, maybe a 4-bedroom house. But then after that, what else next? And then you think of marrying, maybe after marriage, what possibly next? And then you said, I'll have a kid, or maybe not. So is really reproduction the end means of the end goal of all these other systems? Well, that is a question for the social sciences to answer, but I lay the foundation for the physiology part of it. So welcome to Nursing 122. That is the brief introduction. Unless anybody has a question, I'll end the introduction there. And the reference book is always Gaiton and Ganong. We'll start the course next week, unless anybody has a question or a suggestion.